This report is so boring. Numbers, accounts and statistics. I hate it. I'm an artist. When I was younger, I used to write short stories, novels, poems, and I was good at it. What has happened to my inspiration? What am I doing here? A publishing house. That's where I would like to work. Okay, Victoria, stop dreaming. Let's get back to the report. The boss wants it on his desk at 5 this afternoon. Oh, isn't there anything more interesting to do? Like listening to some good music.
Telephone.
Oh, the phone. Hello, this is Victoria Lee. Oh, Lucy, what can I do for you? No, I'm not busy. Well, actually, I am very busy. I have to write a boring report for the boss. Anyway, what is it? Is there a problem? What? Mr. Lewis wants to speak with me. Really? Yes, of course. Put him through. Good morning, Mr. Lewis. It's a pleasure to hear from you. How are you? I'm fine, sir. What can I do for you? Yes, I know the product. It's very interesting, innovative, and the marketing department thinks it has a lot of potential for the international market. What? Me? Really? Thank you, sir. Yes, immediately. Yes, Victoria, today is your lucky day. Bye-bye, boring report. Oh, good morning, Mr. Chang. Excuse me, I was just rearranging my office. Take a seat, please.
Thank you. It looks very nice here.
Thank you. Well, before we begin to talk about our new product, I would like to give you some information about our company. Speedmaster Spectre is a multinational company which specialises in well-designed, high-tech sporting goods. Founded in Los Angeles in 1995, we now have 15 branches worldwide.
That's very interesting, Mrs. Lee. How much is your company's revenue?
Over the past few years, Speedmaster Spectre's revenue has grown impressively. Today we have a turnover of more than 60 million euros of revenue. Our revenues abroad amount to more than 50% of that total.
Very impressive. And what are your target markets?
We have product lines for men, women and children with gear covering head to toe. Our brand is synonymous with reliability. Speedmaster Spectre is trusted around the world and we are considered one of the leaders in our sector.
Great. So, what can you tell me about this new product?
This is a revolutionary new tennis shoe. It's extremely durable thanks to our high-quality materials. We're interested in the Southeast Asian market. We believe that these shoes are the right product for that market.
And where are they manufactured?
Right, that's our strength. We have factories that meet all work standards and regulations in the countries we would like to target.
And what is your role, Mrs. Lee?
In the past, I was responsible for the Southern European market. Just last week, I took on a new role to test and distribute our products into the Chinese market. It's a very challenging position.
That could deliver positive results. Together we can do great things, Mrs. Lee. Well, goodbye, Mrs. Lee. This meeting has been very profitable for both of us. Let's talk soon.
Thank you, Mr. Chang. And yes, let's meet again soon.
Great. Bye-bye.
We're meeting here today to show Mr. Chang our new Smarty tennis shoes. These innovative shoes are made of high-quality materials and are perfect for the Southeast Asian market, which, as we all know, is expanding rapidly. We're especially interested in the Chinese market, which is growing at a pace much faster than the rest of the world. Excuse me for a moment. Henry? Hi. I'm sorry, but I'm in a meeting right now. Let's talk later, okay? All right, tell me, but hurry up. No, Henry, I never told John he could watch TV all day. He must have misunderstood. All I said was that he can watch all the TV he wants, but only after doing his homework. This really isn't the right moment, Henry. I'm sorry. Can we continue this conversation later on this evening? Pardon the interruption. Now, as I was saying...
Excuse me, Victoria, but do you think this is the right product for the Chinese market? I think that before we export Smart in the Southeast Asian market, we need to take a close look at the local competition and the market's tastes in the sector.
Excellent observation, Paul. We've actually already done market research, and as Mr. Chang can confirm, demand for sporting goods in China has grown by 50% over the past 10 years. Far Eastern consumers are increasingly interested in the latest fashion. They have become the most demanding consumers of fashion and quality in the world. Isn't that right, Mr. Chang?
Oh, yes. Your fashions have reached our shores. Fashion is law, especially for young consumers. In fact, purchases are driven more by trends than by the actual products.
And what about the competition, Victoria? It's a well-known fact that labor costs are lower in China, and the shoes produced in China are much more cost-competitive than in Europe.
Right again, Paul. However, our shoes are manufactured with high-quality materials that target an upper-level segment of the market. This market segment is quite happy to spend more on products that are well-equipped, last longer, and are of a higher quality.
Do you have any data on how Smarty sales are going in Europe and in the States?
Yes. Our marketing department sent me the latest report just this morning, and I'm happy to say it's very encouraging. Smarty has become one of our most successful products of the last few years. Demand is growing exponentially, and the satisfaction level of these shoes is much higher than that of similar shoes produced by other companies. In fact, Smarty shoes are considered one of the most durable, the most functional, and, most importantly, the most popular amongst the youth market.
And what about the distribution? It's a very important aspect that we shouldn't underestimate.
Yes, Mr. Chang is here to help clarify this issue for us.
It is extremely important to have a detailed distribution and promotion plan. We've also got to create a reputable chain of agents to distribute our products over the widest possible area. This, in turn, will help us make importation easier and reduce taxes for entry into the Chinese market. Look, I'm very happy to provide you with any information you may need, as well as contacts inside the Ministry of Industry and the Chamber of Commerce. But, of course, success depends on your goals, your strategy, and the type of financing plan you're willing to provide.
And besides that... Oh, excuse me yet again. John, what do you want? I told Dad I'm in an important meeting. No, John, I didn't say that. First do your homework, and then you can watch TV, okay? And listen to me. I don't care if your friends aren't studying today just because it's a holiday tomorrow. Do you understand? Tomorrow we're going to see your grandparents, so you have to study today. That's enough of this story, John. No, that's not true. I'm a good mother, and I love you. But it doesn't mean I don't have the right to tell you what to do. Listen, I don't want to talk about this anymore. Goodbye. Pardon me, just a little domestic problem.
Oh, yes, Mrs. Lee. We all know that kids cause more problem than work.
You're right, Mr. Chang. Kids. Anyone who understands them is a genius.
Victoria Lee, good morning. Do you remember me?
Yes, certainly. And to what do I owe the pleasure of your unexpected visit?
Beautiful office. My compliments. You've certainly come a long way, haven't you?
Well, I can't complain. If you don't mind, I've got quite a lot to do.
You didn't feel that way a year ago when we first met.
Listen, Mrs. Baker, That was a very difficult period for me. I wasn't happy with my job and...
Don't worry, Lee. I'm not here to visit the past, but rather to talk about the future.
What?
I've recently heard quite a bit about you. I know that you've done great things to improve the bottom line of Spectra. As a matter of fact, that's why I'm here today. I'd like you to come and work for us.
Thank you, Mrs. Baker, but...
Just a moment, Lee. Let me have my say. If you came to work for us, you'd not only have the opportunity to work for a successful company, but you'd also have a brilliant career with full satisfaction ahead of you.
I'm flattered, but as I said, I'm very pleased with my present employment.
If I were to propose a position as business development manager, would you consider my offer?
Mrs. Baker, please, if I were to come and work for you, I'd be doing my company a disservice.
Just think it over, Lee. If you accept, you'll get a much higher salary than your current one. Of course, I forgot to mention the company car and mobile phone, not to mention an impressive percentage of sales.
That's enough, Mrs. Baker. Your offer is very tempting, and if I were free, I would certainly accept. However, things have changed greatly. I am very satisfied with my job here.
Mrs. Lee, I've brought you this brochure. I was just,
Fine, I'll leave. Mrs. Lee, just think about what I said. I'll be in touch.
Mrs. Lee, excuse me for disturbing, but I need to speak to you for a moment.
You're not disturbing, Mr. Chang. What can I do for you?
Perhaps it's none of my business, but considering the importance of the deal for you and your company, I want to be absolutely sure that everything goes smoothly and that no ugly surprises are around the corner.
I don't understand, Mr. Chang. What are you getting at?
You see, Victoria, I value you highly and trust in you, but I don't like people going behind my back.
What are you insinuating, Mr. Chang?
Victoria, I know very well the woman who visited you in your office yesterday, Mrs. Baker, Human Resources Director for Play, the world's largest sporting goods chain.
And?
Mrs. Baker is well known as a headhunter. You know, those personnel managers who rob other companies of their own talents to employ for their own companies. So tell me, Victoria, what did Mrs. Baker want from you?
You're right. Mrs. Baker made me a very interesting offer, but I certainly have no intention of accepting.
Are you quite sure, Victoria?
Look, Mr. Chang, I had an interview with Mrs. Baker last year. At the time, I was working for Spectre, but I was very unhappy. I had been hired to work in the business office and had expected more important assignments. But unfortunately, my work was very monotonous and boring, nothing that met my expectations. So I sent a CV to Play, they contacted me for an interview, but there weren't any positions open at the time. Therefore, I stayed at Spectre. And there's another thing, Mr. Chang. I have a dream. I've always wanted to work in a publishing house ever since I was a teenager. And that's also why I wanted to leave this job. Numbers just don't go with my creativity.
And what about now, Victoria? Do you still doubt about your job? And what about your expectations?
Well, now things are different. I've taken on a role with more responsibilities, and I'm working on important projects like this one. It's been a double victory for me. Not many women have such prestigious positions, and I'm quite proud of that. I finally have the chance to demonstrate all my abilities, and I have no intention to renounce that. You have to believe me, Mr. Chang. I have no intention whatsoever of betraying my company.
I believe you, Victoria. I certainly appreciate your sincerity. You're quite a capable young woman. And I'm certainly very pleased to have solved this little misunderstanding.
The purpose of today's meeting is to discuss the Smarty marketing campaign. Does anyone have any suggestions?
Before we move forward with the planning, I think we need to take into consideration a number of aspects of the campaign. I'm referring to the concept, the objectives, the targets, and the type of media we need to employ.
Good observation, Mr. Chang. Getting our ideas clear before we move on to the direction and score of our marketing drive is an excellent idea. What do you think, Paul?
I'm in complete agreement with you. First, we need to set our objectives for this campaign. We need to decide upon our focal points in terms of brand communication.
Could you explain what you've written on the board there? That'll help us understand where you're going with this.
Brand awareness rising will help potential clients become familiar with our products and the marketplace we're targeting. In our case, this type of campaign will serve to improve the image of Spectre in the Chinese market.
But what about focusing the campaign on the product itself?
A product campaign is generally much more focused and serves to meet different objectives. Above all, it can help communicate the unique characteristic of the product to help it stand out in its marketplace. Of course, this can eventually bring positive results to the entire line of products.
And in your opinion, what type of campaign best suits our needs?
Well, considering that the Chinese market is new for us, I'd choose a campaign focusing on brand awareness with a simple but effective message, such as our company provides sporting goods with a high-tech edge, and then follow up with a successive campaign focusing on the smartie.
Are there any comments on Paul's proposal?
I'm in complete agreement with him.
Great. Would you like to add anything, Paul?
Not for the moment.
Well, if there are no objections, I'd like to move forward on this. Our next step is to contact a marketing agency. Could you take care of that, Paul?
Certainly, Victoria.
Well, if there's nothing else, I really need to get going. Oh, my goodness, look at the time.
You're always busy, aren't you, Mrs. Lee? I think you work too much.
Well, actually, I need to go to my son's school play. I promised him that I wouldn't miss it for anything in the world.
Well, then get a move on. Children always come before business.
What are we doing now?
Let's go for lunch.
Mr. Chang, can you hear clearly?
Yes, I can. Go ahead.
Okay, then let's begin. So, Paul, how's the marketing campaign coming along?
We're putting together a complex communication strategy that's going to leverage different channels, from TV spots and radio jingles to magazine runs and banner advertising on the internet.
The internet? Are you sure that'll bring about results?
Absolutely, Victoria. The internet has enormous potential. Web marketing is direct and allows for niche advertising that builds better rapport with our clients. Isn't that right, Mr. Chang?
Yes, even if it's true that not all Chinese families have a broadband connection like you do here in the West. The internet is still very popular in China, especially with the young. Internet cafes of all sorts are opening across the country. And according to the Chinese Information Technology Ministry, the number of avid internet users has already reached 120 million.
Wow, I had no idea there was such a boom in information technology.
Oh, yes. Technology has become the determining factor in the economic and cultural development of the contemporary Chinese society. Above all, it's young adults who are influenced by these new communication media. 60% of web servers in China are between the ages of 18 and 26. Words such as forum, blog, email, and chat have become part of their everyday speech. I think we need to focus our efforts in this arena to successfully market our products.
As a matter of fact, not only am I working to develop a graphically attractive site with plenty of content, but I am also contacting major internet portals to post animated banners. I am also looking into other means of reaching a much more clearly defined niche by target advertising through news groups, mailing lists, chat rooms and forums. I'm even thinking of launching a viral marketing campaign.
A viral what? Sounds like a disease to me.
Viral marketing is a marketing strategy that induces users of certain internet sites to promote products to other surfers, like a virus. In this way, exponential visibility of our message is possible. It's like a word of mouth on steroids. If we succeed, it's a low-cost communication strategy that has an extremely attractive growth potential that's hard to calculate.
Pure genius. I must say, Paul, you're the tops when it comes to technology.
Well, considering I spend so much time chatting.
Don't tell me that you prefer friends made in virtual space.
Well, to be truthful, I found my fiancée on the internet.
I took this this photo myself. I took this photo myself. I took this photo myself. Beautiful. Is it, this is Z, okay? Is it your favorite coffee shop? Beautiful. Is it your favorite coffee shop? Beautiful. Is it your favorite coffee shop? Okay, the situation is like this. I went to my favorite coffee shop and then I took the picture there, and then I showed to my friend that, okay, this is the photo that I took, and then my friend looked that photo and then she said, oh, beautiful, and she asked me, is it your favorite coffee shop? Okay, now, yep, it was 4:30 at that time. 4:30, that means 4:30, okay? 4:30 at that time. Yep, it was 4:30 at that time. So it was quite quiet. Quiet, that means fairly. And quiet, that means silent, no noise, okay? Quite quiet. Sorry, quite quiet. So it was quite quiet. Yep, it was 4:30 at that time. So it was quite quiet. Yep, it was 4:30 at that time. So it was quite quiet. Good. I'll go there sometime. Sometime, that means like one day in the future. Good. I'll go there sometime. What did you? You can say this is did you? The first word ends with D, and the second word begins with Y, so we link them together and pronounce as J, just like job, okay? What did you do on your vacation? Vacation, that means holiday, okay? What did you do on your vacation? Well, I visited. This is the past, so we say visited, okay? I visited London. You know, I love traveling. Well, I visited London. You know, I love traveling. Great. Which countries have you been? Which countries have you been? I've been to several countries like Canada, India, and Thailand. Okay, this is TH, but this is, okay, the country. So we don't pronounce this one as Thailand. This is T, okay? Thailand. One more time. So number one, this is though. Though is the linking word that we use to show the contrast between two clauses or two sentences, okay? Though. And this one, you know, the same, although, the same meaning. Okay, look at the example. Though my brother is short, he's really handsome. Okay, like the difference. One is short and one is handsome. So, you know, they are contrasts, right? So we use though to show the contrast. Though my brother is short, he's really handsome. So that is thought. I haven't thought about that. I haven't thought about that. That means I never think about that. I haven't thought about that. Number 3. This is thorough. Yeah, I know this one is very difficult to pronounce. Thorough, just like 3. Through, 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 okay? Through. So, through, usually through, it is a preposition. It usually goes with other verbs to form phrasal verbs, to form different meaning. For example here, hope that we all get through the exams. Get through the exams, that means to pass the exams. Thorough. For British English, we pronounce thorough. For American English, we say thorough. Thorough, okay? Thorough or thorough, but I usually say thorough. Thorough. If a person is a thorough, that means that person does things very carefully and with great attention to detail. Very, very careful. Okay? Thorough. She's you can say she's a very thorough woman. She's a very thorough woman. For number 5. Can you see the same R-O-U-G-H here? But it is not pronounced R. It is pronounced rough. Rough, okay? Rough, that means we usually talk about service. For example, the table service, the road service, the floor, something like that. Or maybe your skin, for example, like if you talk about rough, that means not even, not regular, or not smooth. So, rough here, for example, my skin, remember skin, okay? My skin is quite, that means pretty, quite rough and hard. Rough, not smooth, and hard, that means not soft, okay? My skin is quite rough and hard. For number 6, I think a lot of people may know this one, but it's not, you know, like or something like this. This is okay? Cough. Cough for British English, and for American English, cough. Cough. Cough or cough, the same. That is a verb or a noun. If it is a noun, for example, when you are sick or when you have a cold, you're like this. So that is cough, okay? Cough or cough. Our mom has had a cough for a week, okay? Link them together, for a week. Had a cough. Had a cough for a week. Has had. Our mom has had a cough for a week. That means a week ago she started have the cough, but right now she still have the cough. Okay, so that is our mom has had a cough for a week. I dance well. I do not dance well. 2. You smile confidently. You don't smile confidently. 3. We arrive home late. We do not arrive home late. Number 4. They explain everything clearly. They don't explain everything clearly. Number 5. The children play happily. The children don't play happily. 6. He finishes his homework quickly. He doesn't finish his homework quickly. 7. She goes there regularly. She does not go there regularly. 8. It runs fast. It doesn't. No, sorry, it does not run fast. 9. That man screams loudly. That man doesn't scream loudly.